Howdy folks, I'm Brian,
I'm Amber.
and here's the Saturday morning Reddit special. Alright, our first letter is titled, Am I the jerk for canceling my credit card when my boyfriend refused to return it? I'll preface this by saying that I, a 27-year-old, and my boyfriend, a 30-year-old, have been together for 3 years. I've been jumping from one job to another while he's been unemployed due to health issues that affected his performance at work. Usually, I'm the one that's handling the rent, the bills, the groceries, etc. I use my credit card to make any purchases that I want. Well, last week, my boyfriend out of nowhere asked for my credit card. I asked why, since I'm the one who handles the payments and the supermarket trips. He told me that he wanted to buy some food, and I agreed to let him take it, but I told him that he needed to return it later. Well, he got back later, and when I asked about my credit card, he was like, "What credit card?" That's the oldest trick in the book. Credit card? What credit card? You didn't give me your credit card. I thought that he was joking, so I asked him to give it back. He said that he's just going to keep it with him. I asked why, and he said so he could start handling paying for stuff on my behalf. I felt uncomfortable. I said I'd rather not burden him with this stuff and asked him to hand over the credit card. He refused and said that he'll just keep it, since it doesn't have that much money on it anyways. I was livid. I tried to argue, but he told me to just trust him and let him keep it, and he swore that he wouldn't spend a penny from it. Well, the next morning I went to cancel it, and then I registered a new one. He must have tried to use it because he called and was confused, asking why the credit card was not valid anymore. I told him it's because I canceled it and registered a new one. He lost it and started scolding me, saying that he couldn't believe I had this level of petty, and kept on about how I don't trust him with my finances, and how financially abusive I have become lately. So I hung up on him. The argument continued at home, and he called me paranoid and unreasonable, and all that. He then started cold shouldering me and sulking about it for days. I do feel like I hurt his feelings and showed an amount of distrust towards him. Am I the jerk for canceling my credit card? Edit some additional information. Like I said, he has a physical disability that limits his work opportunities. He receives no disability benefits because he doesn't want to. He refuses to even acknowledge that he has a disability and pretends it doesn't exist at all. When I tell him to look for a job, he'd blame people for purposely refusing to employ him and say that they look down on him because he's lacking or beneath them. He comes from a humble background, no longer has any contact with his family due to abandonment issues, but has some friends to lean on. Since someone asked, the answer is that I do almost 80% of the chores while he does the other 20%. The reasons is his disability. Finally, I pay the rent, the bills, the groceries, his meds, and transportation as well, so I need the credit card with me constantly. Alright folks, I think I'm going to read a couple of comments here from OP as well. Info, is he in therapy or doing anything for his mental health issues besides taking medication? And OP replies, he was in therapy once, but then left because he didn't think it was beneficial. He's not the type to believe in this stuff anyways. His mental health is in poor condition after all this time. And Past Bear 2892 says, why is he not on disability? And OP replies, because he doesn't want to. He's in so much denial about his disability to the point where he literally ignores his medication and oftentimes refuses to take it. If I mention the disability benefits to him, he'd flip out on me. And Rasquack says, info, do you mind disclosing what the disability is? And OP replies, he has a mobility impairment in his right arm. It's largely been affecting his mental and emotional health. He's not the type to believe in therapy, so it's a daily struggle to try and keep him motivated. And Ghost of Mitch 2005 says that they were shocked apparently when they tried to spend the money and then couldn't. You are not unreasonable for wanting your credit card and canceling it when he refuses to give it back. It doesn't matter that he swore that he wouldn't spend on it. It wouldn't even matter if he didn't spend more on it. It's not his. His behavior indicates that he's guilt-tripping you. He's making all this about you harming him by not trusting him, when you busted him for literally doing something that he swore that he wouldn't do. He even ratted himself out, which he didn't have to do, which means it was not a fluke, but rather that he intended on spending more than you expected on your credit card, and probably quite often. And OP replies, honestly, I found it strange that he wanted to keep the credit card. He's never touched it before. I keep telling him to get a job, but his answer is to claim that I'm being selfish and inconsiderate of his physical disability. He may be right, but I know people who are dealing with worse conditions, but still manage to work. Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk for taking the credit card back, although that last comment is a little problematic.
Yeah, I think there are actually some problematic parts with OP's attitude in general. It sounds like, one, if he wants to be more involved with the financial decisions in the household, I think that's reasonable and that they should sit down together and work together. Disabilities affect people differently, right? Like, there are a lot of hidden disabilities that you can't see, and we don't know the severity of his disability and whether or not how badly this impedes his working. And just keep in mind that not every disability is visible, and everyone's going to have a different experience with disability. So you need to set a hard line, I think, at a certain point and say, look, you need to either get help, whether it's mental, physical, rehabilitation of some form or another, or you need to claim disability and or start looking for a job, right? I mean, there's things that he needs to be doing here. So I think that he needs to seek out resources, and that's why our society has resources for people who have disabilities. He needs to utilize those resources and stop living in denial about his physical impairment. Or if he's going to completely deny that he has one, then he needs to actually go and get a job and then ignore that he has one there, right? And he's claiming that people are discriminating against him for his disability. Well, that's illegal, right? You can't discriminate against people for a disability. I'm not saying that people don't. I'm saying that if people are, then he can sue them for discriminating against him.
Right, like, and unfortunately your arms are used in a lot of jobs, but there certainly are positions where he might be able to get accommodations. Like, you are allowed to, like, if someone can't drive, you're fine not hiring them as a truck driver because that impedes their ability to do the job. So it is a little more complicated than that, but there certainly probably are some positions that with sufficient supports he could do.
Yeah. That's just it. There are things that he might be able to do, and maybe there are jobs that he can't do. He's just not doing a whole lot to help himself here, and I can't blame OP. So, what do we rate people as? I'm gonna rate him on the jerk scale as probably like maybe 4, maybe 5. I don't know. What do you folks think? What do you think, Ever?
That's pretty bad to take someone's credit card, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with 4 jerks.
4. I mean, the stealing the credit card, trying to gaslight him. Yeah, I mean, this really seems like a 4, maybe 5, right? Like there are definitely parts here. I'm not trying to let him slide, and he's not getting off easy. So yeah, we'll settle on. I'll give him 4 solid. Let me know if you folks think that he deserves higher or lower. And as for OP, I'm gonna give them a 1. 1, they're enabling him, right? They're enabling his behavior, and 2, they do have some problematic views on disability as well, and so I think that isn't helping them. And they seem to really just want to like take care of him and are doing like, oh no, don't trouble yourself with this financial stuff, right? When you two could be sitting down and working out actual like payment systems and stuff like that. He may want to be more invested in the finances. He may actually sincerely want to help you and feel guilty for not doing more, right? So I think that there is some potentially, hopefully, some legitimacy to what he's saying, and that it isn't just he's going out and buying a PS5, right, with your bill money. So let's hope that isn't the case, and hope that his intentions are more altruistic, but I'm not sure that I believe that. So let me know what you folks think. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Happy Saturday! I hope you're having a great and wonderful weekend if you are indeed on weekend. I have some coffee here. Amber's got some tea and some water. And I hope you all have a great weekend, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.